athlete. And this week, myself and my co-host, Tom Reber with Cross Country Mortgage, we have Elysia Stobbe with Mortgage Millions. I didn't write the third word. It's Mortgage Million. Mentors. Okay, that's what it is. And so she's going to not only she still originates a little bit, but she coaches. And I really want to dig into a little bit for those out there who might be considering a coach to move their business up. Maybe with a coach they're not getting production out, but why does someone go to a coach in our business? We know the real estate agents are doing it. So I'm really interested a little bit on that. And also she has written a few books as well. So some things out there for our audience maybe to dabble in here and learn a little bit more about Elysia and what she's done. So guys, if we like to start off, and one of the the main points of Tom and I creating this Wednesday lunch show was to update everyone on the market. That's the big question, the big, it's so broad and everyone of course has their opinions. So Elysia, we're going to, as the guest, we're going to let you tip off and tell us a little bit about what you're seeing here, since the first year, roughly 30, 40 days into the year, what you're seeing as far as, applications, where they're coming from, and so forth in your world. So welcome to the show.
Thanks. Happy to be here, guys. Appreciate the opportunity. Anytime I can share some tips with mortgage LOs and branch managers, I love to do it. We're all swimming in the same pool. And I think, instead of being in that pot of crabs that pull each other down, I think it's our responsibility to help pull everybody up. What a start to a year. It's very interesting. I'm actually seeing for the first time in a few years, realtors saying that they're happy to accept loan officers' referrals. Which honestly is, it's an interesting shift. I mean, the business has had a major shift in the last 12 months, 9 months in particular. And I think more than ever, realtors are really looking to their loan officers as a true partnership. The days of I'll close your loan on time really is kind of the bare minimum of what we should be doing these days.
Right.
Helping build our referral relationships with realtors and others, professionals ancillary to real estate transactions is really the way it is now, and what we should be doing to contribute value to our realtors and treating it like a true partnership.
Elysia, number one, thank you for being on the show today. You're very accomplished. When I was reading your bio, obviously as an author of some fantastic, not only books about mortgages, but being a bestseller. I mean, it's very rare that somebody writes a book, and you've written 3 of these, and being on the bestseller list, New York bestseller list, is incredible. So I tip my cap to you on that. And don't sell yourself short. You're quite the producer as well. Even though you have 5 other things that you do, your production numbers are extremely competitive for most mortgage originators. So the bar is very high for you. Not only are you an author, not only are you a mentor and a coach, which we look forward to hearing more about that, but you also still originate loans, which is near and dear to my heart. As I've said the other day when we were talking, is your actions are your truth, your reputation is your currency. So you can honestly tell people that not only do you walk the walk, you talk the talk, but you deliver. So for that, a fellow mortgage warrior, I salute you.
Are we changing the podcast to Mortgage Warriors now? The mortgage athletes out.
It can be. We can be warriors, but I'm just calling it as I see it, Tracy. She seems to be pretty damn good at her game.
Each week, Elysia, we pull out a quote from Tom. Tom's going to have some sort of quote during this 30 minutes that we're going to, immortalize.
Yeah, I've actually gone.
I love Tom's quotes.
Yeah. So the one quote for a fun fact is the Serengeti of opportunity has gone viral.
Last week, yes.
Last week, the Serengeti of opportunity is where we work in and live in. So, Elysia, as we continue on with our relationship and partnership in the marketplace, I love to stimulate the market with regards to who, what, when, and where, respect, professional courtesy at the highest levels, reputation, actions. I love to reward those, just like Tracy. And this is part of the reason why we call this the Mortgage Athlete Podcast, and is to celebrate the mortgage business and to celebrate fellow mortgage folks that do a fantastic job. And and then elevate the games of not only themselves, others, which is what you do incredibly well, not only through your books, but through your mentoring and coaching of others. So we look forward to hearing that. But Tracy, back to your original point. I'll keep it short and sweet. I agree with Elysia. The market is continuing to improve. The partnerships today that you have with your agents, I'm going to hold this up because I like to do show and tell, Elysia. I got actually 2 thank you cards from agents for being good at my job. What the heck? I haven't got a thank you card in probably 10 years. And now, because I do a good job and partner with people, they're saying thank you. And that's to Elysia's point, which is honor. It's an honor to work with great, high quality real estate professionals and real estate athletes that have game, professionalism, and respect to the overall business. So that's cool. It's cool because I've been writing thank you cards for as long as I can remember. Every transaction, every closing, saying thank you, being grateful and humble for the opportunity to serve and be a part of. Right. And to get cards back to me, I was pretty stunned, and it shook me up this week in a good way. Yeah. So anyway, that's what I got. Kick it off.
So Elysia, so we talked about pre-show a little bit. Tell us about, well, actually, I'd really tell us about the 3 books you've written. Why'd you write them? And I assume there's a little different subject in each one because there's a different reason why you wrote the next one. Tell us a little about the 3 books.
Thanks, Tracy. Well, I will say also to what Tom said, I attended a closing down in St. Augustine, actually be 2 weeks ago, this Friday. And it was actually a repeat client of mine, but new realtor, but the realtor and the clients, and we all went out for breakfast. The client had a custom coffee mug made. They asked me for a photo, and I gave them closing gifts, of course.
Cool.
They gave me a mug with my photo, with my book. It said #1 loaner. It was so precious.
Yes.
I mean, you could just tell their heart. So to your point, yes. I mean, treat your clients and your realtor referral partners with respect. And actually, I wrote my first book, How to Get Approved for the Best Mortgage Without Sticking a Fork in Your Eye, as a guide, because what I found through, this is my 20th year in the business. I'm sure you guys are right there with me, if not have more experience. So hats off to you.
We're probably pushing 60 years between us. Yeah.
Darn, we look good for 60. And what I found was the more I educated my customers, the better clients they became. And when I say clients, I mean on all the levels, right? You bridge that friendship gap from client to friendship. You also get to start receiving referrals because they trust you. And what I did when I wrote my book is I just knew that since an informed consumer became my best client, I put all the information I could out there. And so I really wanted to raise the bar for our industry, for loan officers and branch managers, because if you ask a better question, you will get a better answer. And most people do this once, twice, maybe 3 times in their lifetime, unless they're investors. And they don't even know the questions to ask, and sometimes, me included, I need to slow down and remember that, we do this so many times a day, and then using that mortgage lingo, and people are just like, what are you talking about? So yeah, it was a privilege and an honor to have that be so well received. Awesome. Oh, yeah. The second book is actually very spiritual. I wrote it during COVID. It's more of a weekly journal of you figuring out really what makes you happy, so you can have your own level of success versus what others may, want to put on you. So
that's cool.
And then the third book is that one. It's called Journey to Success, without sticking a fork in your eye, of course. And then the third one is called Here Comes the Sun. And I just wrote a chapter in a compilation of a book of women with finding their passions and their true joy in life. So I was grateful to be asked to be a part of that.
So the initial book, which I mean, so many of us, I mean, if you've been in the business any amount of times and you've heard all the different questions, obviously the first one, what's your rate, right? And I've done some videos on it, but man, I got to grab your book because it will help me kind of compile all the information that, Tom and I have. We've heard the same things, right? And, how to find the best product. And the one thing I push out there, now I started just telling, my customers right up front, I'm saying, hey, your agent referred you to me because they have experience. They know we're going to have a quality process. I'm going to give you the best rate I can as a loan officer. However, there may be some other people out there going to throw some stuff at you. Throw those loan estimates at me. We will match or beat. And if we can't, we'll just tell you have the greatest deal. Have a great day. But we're going to give you that way we can match that rate. So now you have not only the best loan officer, a process with proven, endorsement, and obviously the best rate. That's really down to it. But I really want to dig in your book and expand on that. I probably create some nice videos out of that.
Yeah, I'd be happy to help you with that. I mean, I think it's fun, and I really enjoy educating consumers and realtors and real estate referral partners.
Yeah.
It's very interesting how now that there's not so many deals, realtors are much more concerned about these deals closing, which of course we have always been concerned with them closing, right? That's our reputation. But a little hiccup here and there, and no one wants that. And I actually find myself getting phone calls, from realtors who maybe they tried to refer the client to me, but the client had an embedded relationship with a large banking institution and they felt more comfortable going there. And now it's a train wreck. Mm-hmm. So I feel like I don't know about you guys, but I'm doing a little bit of counseling right now as well. And it's just interesting because I think, I don't know if you guys heard the national stat, but as I understand it, 17% of loan officers did not renew their licenses. And I really think this year, similar, to 2008, 7, 8, and 9, the loan officers that are going to thrive this year really have to be top-notch quality, know what they're doing. Yep. There's very little, if any, no room for error. And our word is our bond.
Right on. Right on. I'll kind of jump in on that, Elysia. That's a great softball for me is precision origination, proactive processing, solutionary underwriting, kind of in that order. I've been preaching that for many, many, many years, of course. And the better job we do with the questions, the interview process, as I call it, and I told you this the other day, and I've shared this before, is I'm an interviewer by trade. My job is to interview you and get to the root of what your needs and abilities are through the financial process. Income, asset, credit, what's your name, what you sign, where you're from, blend it together. We bring in the collateral. It's a simple process, but uncovering that opens up many questions, to your point. Right questions get you the right answers. The right answers get you the right process. The right process gets you the right results. And it is somewhat predictable. And you always have to be, as you know, expect the unexpected. One of the things we talked about in a couple of podcasts ago was, we have conveyor belts. What are you going to do when the loan falls off the conveyor belt? How are you going to handle that? And that's where, to your point, Elysia, as a true mortgage athlete, you're able to handle those changes and challenges and turn those objections into opportunities. Mm-hmm. And that's what separates Tracy, Elysia, and many other high quality mortgage athletes from others is every objection or issue is an equal or greater opportunity to succeed. I actually, to your point, embrace those because that gives us an opportunity to provide even more influence and value of direction, quality, and extend, to your point, close. Great stuff there. I had one other note. The mortgage lingo piece, even I have to remind myself, the mortgagees, you have to break it down and keep it simple. And one other piece that Tracy had mentioned earlier when we kicked off the show is who's actually making your phone ring? And today you're finding a lot of millennials calling, looking to buy houses with no real logic other than I want to play the game of Monopoly, buy my first house, play Monopoly. And we have to have a lot of tough conversations, as we like to say, scope the opportunity, to the agents as well as to the borrowers to say, look, this is what you're working with. And sometimes we've got to bring in a non-occupant co-borrower, co-signer to the game with them. And most parents are willing to play that. I call that the bank of mom and dad, is one of my phrases I use, as we bring in the bank of mom and dad to play and participate. So that's kind of a data dump based on what you said, Elysia, which is all good stuff. And let's keep on rocking.
Elysia,
I love your colloquialisms.
To jump into, I like to sculpt the opportunity. I like that. Sculpt the opportunity.
Sculpt the opportunity. There you go. Talk it down. People,
we get the lump of stuff, and then our job is over the 30, 45 days or whatever is to mold it into, that loan, so we're sculpting. Elysia, you do coaching. If you can, expand a little bit how long you've been doing it, but what are some things, or have you changed, with how the market over the last 6 months, where, last summer, the real estate agents were sticking the sign, they were calling you, and boom, you were under contract right away, to now, what are you coaching, with your clients that you have now? And then who are your clients that you're getting now? Are they the younger guys or some of the older guys trying to regroup? Or more experienced guys?
Great question. Thanks, Tracy.
More experienced people, more experienced loan officer.
Yeah, more experience. Yeah.
Tracy, don't be calling
the old. Yeah. So I actually started coaching quite a few years ago. And then right before COVID, I decided to retire, which I did. And then I was going to travel to Europe for second quarter of 2020. I had everything booked, Portugal, London. And then, of course, because of COVID, I couldn't go anywhere. So being bored out of my mind and always committed to helping others, I was like, all right, let's focus on coaching. And then, I'll still originate as well. So it's interesting, really, the big shift from, probably in the past couple of years, a couple of years ago, it was, how do you make your offer stand out? How do you, build that relationship? Always building relationships, and to what Tom said about, getting that information. It's old school, but, you have to have that 5th page of the 1003, right? You have such an opportunity to make your clients for life, or that millennial can refer their parents to you, right? Or their cousin or their aunt, or vice versa. I've had parents refer their kids to me when they're ready. And that comes from truly knowing that 5th page of the 1003, genuinely, sincerely. I think that's super important. I would say the biggest switch from the previous couple of years to the last 9 months is prospect. Whether you're new or experienced, that is the key. And I had a coach of mine tell me many, many years ago, I mean, this was an LO years ago, probably 10 years ago, that was closing 60 deals a month. And he just said, if you always prospect and say the right things and do the correct actions, the business will come. And the more you prospect, the more business will come. It doesn't matter, recession, smession, housing market, up, down. If you do the correct activities and you treat people genuinely with kindness and respect, your pipeline will continue to grow. And I think right now, some loan officers may be frustrated, whether they're young or experienced. And I think it's a time right now for back to basics. So like page 5 of the 1003, back to basics, prospecting every single day, even if it's only 30 minutes, right? Don't do all day, one day of the week. It really needs to be consistent, and you have to have the daily habit of prospecting day in and day out, and enjoying it, right? I actually, a lot of the younger loan officers have call reluctance. So I have an app that they can actually text. It's scripted. They can build the relationship and then go on the appointment, and don't worry about the call reluctance. It's very interesting, and it's very, very exciting.
Oh, that's good. That's good. What do you think, Tracy?
Well, so when you're having that, I think, I started because I have a couple thoughts in my head of how I want to phrase this question. I study a lot of what, Carl White and Mortgage Market Animals do. You probably have something similar. It's not rocket science that they're teaching you. They're just, trying to drill it into you. But when you meet a new loan officer, or, I've had some experience, working with some young people last summer, and everyone, they want to talk. I even see them posted on Facebook. They want to post the interest rates. And I'm like, if you become and you start focusing on interest rates, they will focus on interest rates, and you will lose that game, because there's somebody's always going to give them something a little bit less, pay for their appraisal, whatever it is, but you have got to add value in coaching your these. Now that your prospect and do their prospect, and then they actually get the coffee appointment or lunch appointment, whatever it may be. What are some of the added values? Because I really think, when you're building relationships, there has to be a value exchange, right? Whatever it may be. What are some of the things that these, all loan officers that I think they overlook, and they're not. Keep it simple, stupid, right, Tom? I know you love that acronym, KISS.
Yep.
We're old school.
Yep.
Some really added value things that the agents want that a lot of loan officers are missing.
Yeah, so that I think there's so many ways you can add value right now. For example, if you're younger, say you're a millennial loan officer, and you're great at social media, can you offer to help or coach your realtor in that respect? Mm-hmm. One of the things I love to do with my realtor is fourth quarter and first quarter is get together and help them in a group. I try to do 10 to 20, but you want at least 5. You can do it at the real estate agent's office, but we work on goal planning. And I have a 10-page worksheet that we go through and kind of figure out, what did you do last year? What do you want to do this year? Where did your business come from? What referral partners? How'd you get that business? Can you focus on that more? What do you need to grow? I mean, these are real things where you can help your partners grow their career. And when I feel like when you step up like that, you're giving, and givers gain.
Elysia, that's phenomenal. And I think, to Tracy's point and the suggestions that you made are incredible. When you learn how to become part of the DNA of their success, they become very sticky. And that stickiness is really, really good, because instead of being a 3-card Monty flip, as I like to call it, they give you 3, they give you 1. You're going to call Elysia, you're going to call Tracy, you're going to call Tom, and this is why. Because you're going to get the value you're looking for from a home buyer's perspective, using financing to participate in getting it. So with that being said, it becomes part of the circle of life with regards to that transaction. And we become that value partner. You are the one person they talk to. They're like, you have to speak to this person, and this is why. What do you mean, why? Oh, it's your one phone call, because they're going to make sure that you get what you need. Total cost benefit, analysis of what your financial for this house and why. Or better yet, some of the advanced loan officers that I've seen will go back and say, you know what, we're going to reshape and resculpt your credit and get your cash flow better than what it was before you bought the darn house. Because the one thing that I've had shared with me many times is the financial education today is so lacking from parents to kids in the millennial world. It's so lacking. So, they get to talk to me, and I find myself acting like a father figure in some ways, talking about, hey, we need to really look at your financial profile. And, that car payment that you got for $900 a month is, it's really hurting. And I realize you're not ready to buy today, but, maybe we need to do something with that $900 a month to make your cash flow work a lot better as you continue to go down the path of life in adult with what you're doing, with what you're playing the game of Monopoly. So there's a lot of that sculpting that goes in today that we weren't necessarily having to do 9, 10 months, 12 months ago. Today, it's paramount. It's a value game, to Tracy and your point, Elysia, as well. And I find it makes you very sticky. So great point, great targets.
And I actually enjoy that. I love everything you said, Tom. It's right on. And I enjoy that. I mean, I enjoy being a mentor. that giving is something, I mean, yes, and we get business from it. That's great. But I know you, like me, that helps us sleep at night, right? I go to bed at the end of the day feeling great about what I did, you know?
Yeah. Well, that to that point, that's the zen of the business that I tell people, that money does not buy that happiness and pride of being a part of. And I know, Elysia, you do this because I've seen it on LinkedIn. You actually take photos at your closing with your customers to celebrate the moment. Again, that part, that conclusion, the denouement of the transaction and the process, or better yet, the home buying, that needs to be celebrated because it is the American dream.
Yeah.
Yep. And what a privilege that we have the opportunity to assist in that.
Absolutely. I'm very, very, very passionate about striving for mortgage excellence. And it's a privilege to do this job and be a part of the transaction to help you have home ownership. That's 100% respect and pride.
Elysia, so we're gonna finish up here. We got 3 or 4 minutes left. We always try to keep it to half an hour. You know, I see it all the time. It kind of drives me nuts. Tom and I gets under our skin as everyone wants their opinion on, hey, what's the market going to do? NAR posted something this week. I had to respond to it about, you know, one of their top gurus in finance, whatever their position was. Oh, we should see interest rates drop. They'll probably be in the 4%. And I had to respond to the article. I said, you know, first of all, you don't know. And second of all, you don't realize how many companies have gone out of business. We got that famous word in our business that the capital markets groups like to talk about, margin compression. A lot of people have left the business, especially in the support roles. So if the business comes storming back, you have to bring those people back in, and that costs money. So that's going to be put into the interest rates. So to say they're going to drop so drastically from where we're at right now, to me is a little far-fetched. Not saying it won't get there, but there's a lot of other factors involved other than inflation has leveled out. What would you say?
Me or Tom first? Sorry.
Go ahead, Elysia. I'll follow your lead on that one. That's a fun question.
Always a gentleman. Yeah. So, I mean, to me, we can speculate all day long, right? But what I know is where rates are today.
Yep.
And either the buyer wants to buy and they can afford the payment and it's comfortable for them. You know, marry the house, date the rate. You can say that. I mean, personally, I've bought houses, you know, when rates were almost 7%, and I've bought houses when rates were in the 2s. It really comes down to, is the person comfortable with that payment, first of all? And then the other things to consider, if you look at the statistics of new home builds every decade since the 50s, we are, you know, if you look at what was short from 2010 to 2020, what's still short in this decade that we're started in, technically we are in a housing shortage of about 3 million homes. And if you want to lock in your rent payment, a fixed rate with a fixed rate mortgage is the best way to do it. It's so funny because this mortgage is actually my second career. My first career was in radio sales and marketing. And what I learned very quickly in this career is it's somebody's personal. It's not a Coca-Cola with, you know, all this money to spend, right? I've never treated it like, you know, closing a sale or anything like that. And I just try to inform people of what's available, what they qualify for, give an accurate payment and closing cost estimate, and they have to be okay with that. And if I'm ready and ready to help them, and if they're not, I'm ready when they come back.
Wow.
Tom, I know you're chomping at the bit. You want to respond to my comment.
I'm going to put it out there. She said it so well. I've got a few pieces I may be able to add to Elysia. She's been fantastic today. You know, the journey of a homeowner buying a house today and the cost of money, the cost of a house, where do we start? Where do we begin? Is it the right time? Not the right time? Elysia made a point to me the other day. She goes, I've become part psychologist in this transaction. help them self-medicate in their own minds why they're going to buy this house. Why? And once you help figure out the why, you then get to the how and the when and what do you got to provide, and the whole process starts off. But sometimes you never launch because they never understand the real why, and they get hung up on, oh my gosh, my payment's going to be this. It's shelter cost. It's one of the 3 primal needs of life: food, water, shelter. And you're going to pay shelter. You're going to pay transportation. You're going to have costs that you're going to have to pay to exist. So my technical answer will be, it's a buyer's market slightly today. And it looks like that buyer's market will continue for maybe a few more months. If inventory, like Elysia says, does not grow, we may be back to a seller's market in August and July, July, August, September range, because there's not a lot of inventory. They're not building them fast enough. There's not enough listings out there for people to really look at. And it won't take much if the rates slide down like they supposedly will. We'll see. But if they slide down, because right now you're looking at the low 6s, high 5s. Once you start sliding down to the 5s, the affordability starts catching back up. We talked about that a while back. The stagflation with income and affordability comes together again. There's nothing to buy. We're right back to square one. And now you're having multiple offers, and we're right back to where we were, helping people make their offer look better than what the other ones look like. And we're like, I personally don't want to go back there. I think today is a great opportunity for buyers, and there's inventory for people to buy. I'm looking forward to some sort of normalcy, but which is refreshing. So I think the right sizing of the market, the right sizing of the opportunities are in play. And to Alicia's point, we just have to be a good steward on explaining the cash flow analysis to them and help them understand why they're doing this. Because Tracy made the point, and I know Alicia's touched on this as well, we've seen appreciation. Appreciation has slowed down, but appreciation is continuing. And I don't think it's going to stop anytime soon, because we go right back to the seller's market again. And guess what? We're right back to the white hot flame of, buyers and houses. But I don't call that. I'm just saying, if it plays out perfectly, we could be back that way. But for right now, it's a 30-day window. I share with my team and others. I used to live in a 6-month window where I could forecast out 6 months. COVID hit, that dropped to 90 days. Then all of a sudden it went from 90 days to, holy cow, we're living in dog years. Every month is 7 months, every year is 7 years. And now I can only forecast maybe 30 to 40 days out. What the heck? So anyway, I'm very, very bullish on our market. I'm very bullish on our careers. A heartfelt thank you to Tracy and Elysia for today. It's always really cool for me to be a part of this.
Elysia, any final words here before we check out?
I think as loan officers and branch managers, just do your best every day, and just remember, Tom and I were talking about it the other day, and I said that I was talking to a coaching client, and he's doing great, but he was talking about how the business is so hard. And I said, it's hard to get on the phone. It's hard to go see people. I mean, if you're a people person, this is the best. I think it's the best business you can be in. Right. I'm not stuck behind, the counter at McDonald's. That was my high school job. And, I don't do that now. I don't have to clean toilets. Like this job, what we do if you treat it like a career and not a job, is amazing. I just like to end on a positive note, and thank you both so much, gentlemen.
Yeah. 100%. Tom, the demand is still there. The housing shortage, and we live in Florida. We probably have the greatest housing shortage of any state. So we're all sitting in a honeypot. Yeah. For all of us. So guys, I appreciate you being on. Hopefully those who are watching or watch later on Facebook or YouTube, it's there. Get a little something out of it. But that's this week's update. And Elysia, thanks for coming on.
Thank you both.
Thank you. Great job, everybody.
All right.